Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you.
That really reminds me of a biography I read about this one girl named Nikki. She was in her senior year of high school. She was really busy, taking AP classes, honors classes, and also juggling work part-time and like church activities, band, helping out in Sunday school. And one day when she came to school, it seemed like any other day, except for she remembers hearing commotion in the hallway, and her whole class turns to look at the door, and right at that moment the door swings open and a guy dressed in black walks into the front of their classroom. And he starts asking each student one by one if they're a Christian or not. And each of them say no. Then he comes up to a boy that sits right in front of Nikki, and he asks him the same question, if he's a Christian or not. Except for this time, the boy, without any hesitation, says, yes, I am a Christian. So the guy shoots him. And imagine Nikki now, she's in terror looking at this, and she knows the guy's gonna come up to her now any second. And she's freaking out. What will she say? There's nowhere to run. He'll obviously shoot her. So he comes up to her and he asks her that same question. Are you a Christian? And her whole life flashes before her eyes. She remembers her family, friends, church, all those things. She doesn't want to lose it all. She can't die now. And he asks her the question one more time, pointing the gun to her forehead. No, I'm not a Christian, she stammers. And then the police were heard in the hallway, so the guy had to run out. And that second, everything inside her just drops. Imagine what she's feeling. Like, she just betrayed Christ. That boy lying in front of her, he stood up for his faith, for what he believed in. How can she call herself a Christian after this? She goes to church the next Sunday. She goes to school the whole week. But she feels really empty inside. How will God ever be able to forgive her for what she had done? And it's just really terrifying. I don't even know what I would have done in that situation. Like, we're really blessed to not have to fear for our faith and going to church for what we believe in,
But you know what? I think we're persecuted on a daily basis as well. I mean, think about it. People get so offended when we speak out about God, right? Yet they push forward their rights and protests and movements, just like parading the streets. Children are taught from a young age about self-esteem and acceptance and everything. And professors speak so poorly about Christian beliefs and morals. They have false interpretations of the Bible stories, and they're not embarrassed to say about it in class. We don't have people pointing guns to our heads, but for some reason we don't want to speak out about God in front of our classmates and coworkers. Why are we scared to do that? I feel like people are just so focused on materialism and growing financially instead of growing spiritually. I mean, getting the newest and coolest cars, following the latest, newest trends, It's just so upsetting that happens. And you know what? That reminded me of a quote I recently read. Let me read it for you. Persecution is easier to understand when it's physical. Torture, death, imprisonment. American persecution is like an advanced stage of cancer. It eats away at you, yet you cannot feel it.